The finale of Squid Game Season 3 wasn't just an ending, it was a total gut punch. It was an intense, dramatic, and heartbreaking conclusion that tied up some of the series' biggest questions while blowing the door wide open to a much scarier world. We're about to break it down, so be sure to subscribe and let's get into it. The final games. The last games of the season were more than just physical tests. They were psychological traps, built to make the last contestants choose between their own life and their soul. The first of these final challenges was a horrifying spin on hide and seek, a group-based bloodbath that split the players into knives, the hunters, and keys, the hiders. In this vicious game, betrayals became the norm, and whatever alliances were left crumbled under the crushing pressure. It was here that Gi-hun killed another player, number 388, Daeho, in a raw, emotional fight after the failed rebellion, a moment which would have been unthinkable to Gi-hun in Season 1. The game also saw Hyunju, player 120, sacrifice herself to save Junhee among a group of players. In one of the most tragic moments, Young-sik, player 007, was murdered by his own mother, Jum-ja, who then took her own life. The psychological toll was evident as Minsu, player 125, gripped by hallucinations, stabbed and killed the shaman, player 44. The next challenge was jump rope, played on a narrow bridge suspended over a fatal drop, while a massive, swinging rope was designed to knock players off the platform to their deaths. This game brought one of the season's most shocking and pivotal moments when Junhee, player 222, gave birth during the game. However, after suffering a sprained ankle and realizing she could not continue, she sacrificed herself to ensure her infant would advance as an official contestant in her place. It was a heartbreaking act of a mother securing a future for her child in the only way she could. This game also saw the demise of Nam-gyu, player 124, who fell to his death after being pushed by the increasingly paranoid Minsu. This set the stage for the absolute final round, Squid Game in the Sky. This event was a vertical battle royale fought on giant suspended platforms shaped like a circle, a triangle, and a square, serving as a violent aerial reimagining of the original Squid Game. Alliances completely collapsed in this final free-for-all. Minsu was killed by Myunggi, player 333, and Myunggi finds himself standing against Gi-hun, a final human choice. They are on a bridge high above the ground, the final arena for their deadly challenge. But it's not just about them anymore. Gi-hun is carrying Junhee's baby. The other finalist, Myunggi, now more dangerous and desperate than ever, threatens to throw the baby off the bridge unless Gi-hun surrenders. The scene is tense and terrifying, pushing the game to its limits. The beauty of the episode lies in Gi-hun's huge transformation. From the broke, often selfish gambler we met in Season 1, he has become someone entirely different. When his opponent mocks him for caring so much about a baby that isn't his, Gi-hun's reply is simple but deep: "I made a promise." That single line encapsulates his entire character arc. He is no longer playing for money or even his own survival. He is playing to protect something innocent and helpless. The man who once bet everything on horse races and neglected his own kid is now risking his life for someone else's child. The battle between the two men is rough. They fight not just with fists, but with the weight of their beliefs and experiences. Myunggi gains the upper hand at one point and is seconds away from dropping the baby. It is then that Gi-hun does something that completely shifts the tone of the game and the series. He offers his own life in exchange, telling Myunggi to kill him and take the prize money, as long as the baby is spared. At first, Myunggi thinks it's a trick, but it quickly becomes clear that Gi-hun is sincere. The two men immediately got into a brawl that turned into a visceral knife fight. Myunggi was determined to eliminate the baby and take the prize for himself, but Gi-hun would stop at nothing to protect the child. Eventually, both men tumbled off the third tower. Gi-hun kept them alive by holding onto the tower's edge with one hand and a jacket connected to Myunggi with the other. The jacket ripped, and Myunggi fell to his death, leaving Gi-hun as the sole survivor. But just when it seems over, the system presents one last, cruel choice. A button appears. If Gi-hun presses it, he wins all the money, but it means the baby must die. If he refuses, he will be eliminated, and the game will end with no winner at all. This is the emotional core of the episode. The VIPs watch eagerly, fully expecting him to press the button. But Gi-hun refuses to treat the baby like a pawn in their twisted game. At the peak of the chaos, holding baby 222, he chooses not to fight, declaring, "We are not horses, we are humans." This is a powerful callback to a line from the first season and serves as a direct rejection of everything the games stand for. He then walks off the ledge with the baby in his arms, sacrificing himself. The Frontman and the Detective. A major twist is the reveal to Gi-hun that the mysterious frontman Hwang In-ho was player 001 all along, watching the games unfold from within. Prior to the finale, he confronts Gi-hun and reveals his identity, not as a stranger, but as someone deeply embedded in the system, both as a former contestant and now as one of its chief architects. After the game concludes with Gi-hun's death, the frontman visits Gi-hun's daughter in Los Angeles. He introduces himself as someone who knew her father and confirms that he has passed away. He then hands over Gi-hun's unclaimed prize money, honoring a promise that he could never fulfill himself, as well as passing on legacy that In-ho was unable to when his own wife and child died before he could get the prize money to save them. It is a hollow gesture, exchanging a father's life for a sum of money, but it adds a layer of complexity to the frontman's character. He doesn't appear to celebrate the outcome. Instead, he carries out this final act in silence, perhaps as a search for his own closure, always remaining true to his principles. Another major development is the return of Detective Junho, who is presumed dead at the end of Season 1. He has spent the time underground, chasing leads, and with the help of an escaped former player, Young-suk, the guy with the sick daughter, he finally locates the facility. He arrives with the Coast Guard just as chaos breaks out on the island. His presence triggers an emergency evacuation and a self-destruct protocol, likely initiated by Inho to destroy all evidence. Junho manages to rescue Baby 222, now the youngest winner and only official victor of the 2024 Squid Game, and also retrieves the prize money, a new beginning, and a global threat. With Gi-hun dead and the island facility destroyed, the survivors are few but significant. In a final twist, an ATM screen reveals that Baby 222, the child of Junhee, is the official winner of the final game, with 45.6 billion won transferred to an account in their name. The child now represents both a fresh start and the immense emotional cost of victory. Junho, as the baby's caretaker, is burdened with a haunting responsibility to protect the only true innocent from the game's brutal history. The episode fast-forwards to 6 months to show the aftermath. Several side characters find a measure of peace. Young-seok lives with his healthier and happier daughter. The North Korean defector, No Yeol, prepares to leave for China, following a tip that her daughter may be alive. In another touching scene, Sang-woo's mother is seen with Se-byuk's now grown-up younger brother, meeting his estranged mother, establishing that there is a new sense of family and joy of some kind from all the pain left behind by the Korean Squid Games. The authorities are left with little to go on. Junho is briefly arrested for his unauthorized investigation, but is later freed. He discovers that the prize money has mysteriously disappeared from a hotel room, believing Gi-hun must have accessed it before his death. With most of the evidence from the island destroyed, the secret organization behind the games remains untouchable. The heroes fought hard, but the system is still standing. As expected, the VIPs escape the island's destruction using a secret airlift protocol. Their brief appearance confirms the worst fears. Their survival means the games will continue. The season ends with a chilling post-credit scene in a crowded Los Angeles train station. A game of didakji unfolds between a mysterious, well-dressed woman and an unsuspecting young man. After a victorious slap, she hands him a business card identical to the one used for recruitment in South Korea. She removes her sunglasses, revealing herself to be the actress Cate Blanchett, hinting at the game's expansion into the United States. This is a direct reference to Squid Game, USA, a project being worked on by David Fincher of Fight Club and Seven fame. Little is known about the project itself, but this reveals it'll tie into the main series and be set in the same timeline, possibly with the VIPs migrating to the American games, meaning the hell from the Korean games just found a new home. However, the path forward could go in more than one direction. Series creator Hwang Dong-hyuk has expressed interest in a different kind of spin-off, one that would explore the original handsome recruiter's past and take place between seasons 1 and 2. His level of involvement in future projects remains a question mark, as he has stated that the process of creating these seasons nearly killed him. With Netflix printing money with this show, it seems likely the company is fully just taking the reins of the franchise now, which may influence which stories get told. The most immediate unresolved thread is the fate of the frontman. His ambiguous ending presents two possibilities. The nihilistic view is that he destroyed the island simply because the Coast Guard was arriving and he is now in LA to continue his role in the machine. The more optimistic reading, inspired by Gi-hun's sacrifice, is that he has finally had a change of heart and will seek to dismantle the global organization, something we could see in the American spin-off series since he seems disgusted by the female recruited in LA. This could set up a direct continuation where he and the now purposeless Choi, who helped Gi-hun, team up to fight the system from the inside, finally bringing Inho's character full circle. One thing's very clear, the franchise is not simply ending, it is evolving. The last few minutes of the finale mirror the very first episode. The cycle is starting all over again. The message is clear. Despite everything the characters endured and sacrificed, despite all the losses, the world has not changed. It is still driven by greed, desperation, and the exploitation of the vulnerable. Some things never truly change. So that's the ending of Squid Game's third and final season fully explained. Did the show live up to your expectations, or do you think it was a letdown? Let us know in the comments if you agree with our pick. And if you want to see more Squid Game content and theories, click the video on screen now.